Hello and welcome to another video. Today we have an MSI X570 Gaming Pro Carbon Wi-Fi on our bench. This is a proper nice board, but it came to me already in pieces, as you can see. So all of the heat sinks, all of the plastics, everything removed. So I feel like someone had already had a look at this. I do not know what is wrong with it, to be honest. And we are going to completely figure that out by ourselves. Let's first get the heatsinks all out of the way, that they're not in my way. I just wanted to show you that I have all of them, but they were already removed, which most of the time is not a good sign if you want to do repairs. First visual inspection, I cannot really see anything bad with the board. Like, I don't see any big scratches, anything knocked off, anything that looks like it got heavily damaged or anything like that. So far decent. And also on the backside of the board, it looks like there had been some soldering done here, or maybe something like that, or liquid. Something must have happened. That might also be leakage from thermal pads. And I think I already see the issue. I can see some issues. These are very obvious. Yeah, there are broken components on this board. Yet again. And again on the VCore side, I just saw it up here. It's like, if you've done this sometime, you just get an eye for broken off stuff. So this will definitely not post. Let's go to the microscope and I will show you why. So let's have a look together. And what I saw was this. I've seen damage in these areas multiple times. This is these are drivers for the VCore circuitry, so taking 12 volts and converting it to 1 volt. And yeah, this area has gotten massive damage. So what can we see? So this component is missing. I think all of these are fine. I think also this thing, it has broken corners, but I think it will be fine. Then this 0 ohm resistor, as you can see, is broken. And this capacitor might be broken as well. So, and continuing one further, we can see knocked off component, so capacitor missing here. This is also a 0 ohm resistor that is supposed to be here. And yeah, that's about it here. This phase is looking fine. Let's see for the other phases. This phase looking fine. And another one fine. And this one also fine. Okay, so we saw that damage there. So let's see. This is also backside of the board. So right here, there was definitely some damage, but it doesn't appear that there actually any components suffered. Like we can see that this one has gotten a little bit of damage, but none of the components here have gotten damaged. And I don't think there were any here at any point. Let's see, PCIe capacitors also looking fine. More PCIe capacitors, all also in good shape. Then PCH backside, also all looking fine. All of the resistors in place. Let's see it in the front of the board. So PWM controller. And PWM controller also looking fine. Let's see for the 12 volt connector right here. Also doesn't appear to be any damage. That's good. Then the... Oh, these are double MOSFETs. These are not the ARM MOSFETs, because the ARM MOSFETs has the driver also included, but these are double MOSFETs. Let's check the corners for some more damage, but also looking fine. Let's see PCR for the CPU socket, if we see any damage close to here. But it really seems to me that most damage has occurred on the back side, because the front looks really clean. Like the front side, as we can see here, it looks really clean, like nothing has happened here. But the backside, man. Yeah, the backside took some good hits. But that area I've seen multiple times already being damaged on MSI X570 boards. Like, yeah. I've done a lot of work in that area before. And it surely won't be the last time that I will be repairing that area on an MSI X570 board. Let's see for some Ethernet also. We're just doing the basic visual inspection now. And then also for the SIO area right here. Like the front of this board looks so clean. It's really in good condition. Like this one, it's weird that the front is in such good condition, but the back was butchered this hard. But well, that can happen. So okay, let's go to the front, the back of the board again. So we want 2 0-ohm resistors, maybe 3. So we want one for this left here, 1 0-ohm there. We probably want that capacitor down there. We might need to replace this one, and we need that capacitor. And that should fix our board here. So let me see, I think I have an X570 MSI board as a donor, where we can take exactly all of this. So I have gotten a similar looking board, but it's not the same. As we can see, these use 2.2 ohm resistors instead of 0 ohms. But we might be able to take one of these capacitors. So let's see what capacitor we're missing. I would guess that it's either that one or that one that we're missing. Probably that one. Let's go into the board view for both of these boards and compare the values. So the kind of board view that we need, we can find by having a look at this. This is MS7C37 version 2.1. And this is the donor board we will be taking off. So let's go in the board view. So this is the board we're currently working on. It's an MS7B93. So we need to go to the backside of the board. And we're missing this resistor, which is a 0 ohm. Then this resistor is partially broken, which is a 0 ohm. Then this resistor, 0.1 microfarads at 16 volts. And then we're missing this resistor right here, which is a 0.1 microfarads at 50 volts. So let's check then on our donor board. So this is the donor board. Then we go to the bottom and we had a look right here. So this is a 0.1 microfarad 50 volt, exactly what we need. And this is a 0.1 microfarad 16 volts. And if we see 0.1 microfarad 16 volts and 0.1 microfarad 50 volts. So we can exactly take this capacitor, or this one, and place it on where we need it. And the 0 ohms, I guess I'ma just grab some 0 ohms that I have laying around. So let's do that. So now everything is replaced. If you saw some flickering, I have problems with capturing my microscope currently, but I hope that is resolved now. So that's also why I went quiet. So let's see. This is supposed to be 1 ohm resistor. And we can see 0.7, that is good. And then the 2.2. Let's go into resistance mode actually to measure these. So from there to here, 2.2 ohm, that is good. And then from this 0 ohm resistor, you can like check from this pin to here. And we could see 1 ohm, because these are 1 ohm resistors instead of zeros, but that is totally fine. Then we have this capacitor where we can just see that it's properly connected from there to there, 0 ohms, and from there to there, 0 ohms. Just show that for a second, right there. Okay, and then let's check that this 0 ohm resistor is still intact. It is, that is good. Just like, let's check this 2.2 ohm. This also intact because this capacitor was knocked out. So let's see, from here to here 0, and from there to there should also be 0. Oh, you probably couldn't see this part, sorry. I just checked these connections right here. You can see 0, and then also from this side of the capacitor to like here, 2.2 ohm. Okay, that is pretty much everything now sorted. So let's flip this board over and see. So while building up, I just realized we never checked for the resistances of this board because we instantly went to fixing it. So let's first check the resistances quickly. 3.3 volts, no short, 5 VSB, no short, 12 volts, no short, 5 volts, not shorted, 12 volts CPU, not shorted, 12 volts CPU into the face. Should be, yeah, not shorted. Okay. So no major line shorts, just that we have that. I will have to put some kind of heatsink onto this PCH because X570 gets very hot, even on startup already. So let's check the passive power consumption of this board. Let's have a good look. 150 milliamps looks very fine. Okay, let's press the power button and see what happens. Oh, it has very cool lights, okay. 2.5 amps. What are we? CPU LED? Is it restarting by its own? The CPU is getting hot. 2.6 amps, 3 amps. That looks very good. Let's get the CPU fan connected. 5 amps. Let's get the post screen also into here. Currently no signal as of yet. You can see the graph very well showing the jumps. There, this running light is so cool. You probably can't see that because of the... Oh, you can see that. There's a running light going from the top to the bottom on the right side. That is so cool. Okay, are we on and just not have a picture currently? That might be the thing. Oh no, it turned off. 150 milliamps. Is it going to turn on by itself again? Let's see. Let's press the power button again. Okay, it turns on again. Let's see if we get a capture this time. Weirdly that it shut off by itself. Because the power consumption so far looks very healthy and very good. So let's get this light into here. So we're currently on a boot LED. Oh, it's on. It's on. I just don't have a signal. Let's see. Yeah. I don't have... Oh, but it turned off by itself. Oh, is there a USB overcurrent situation? That might be the case why it's turning off. Really? Okay, hold on for a second. That is the only thing I can imagine currently, that we have a USB overcurrent and it's shutting off because of that. Let's get a GPU into here to capture it, and maybe then we can see that. So let's see that again. Now GPU, different CPU to 2600 instead of 2200G. Let's see if this now will work. If not, we can also just reset the BIOS, because who knows what happened to the BIOS here. And let's see if we get a signal here. Oh, there's the signal coming. Video format not supported. You kidding me? Let's wait a second for the capture card. Maybe it will fix itself. Okay, currently it stays on. Does it turn off by itself? Let's see. It doesn't seem to be turning off. I don't have a post screen because, yeah, it says not supported. Let's restart this. So, hitting the reset button. Let's see if the signal then actually gets captured. Okay, black screen. There it is, MSI logo. And BIOS. Very, very nice. Okay. So, let me assemble this whole thing, because as you can see, it's in pieces, as we saw at the beginning of the video. Everything was disconnected and I have a lot of screws laying around, not knowing which will go where. So let me try to solve this puzzle and get this all back together. So this took forever, and now power on. Now everything is connected again. And I had to find some more screws in my scrap because this board had missing screws. And you would think that goes pretty quickly at my place, like with the graveyard of mainboards that I have. But it took a very long time for me to find the appropriate screws that go into here. But now everything is screwed together, everything is in place, all of the RAM is populated. I even had to cut new thermal pads. Like, I haven't had to do that in a very long time. Like, the VRM coolers didn't have any thermal pads for whatever reason left on them, and I had to recut them. And the video format is not supported again. Let's restart. Oh, this is a running light. So this light starts from the top, goes all the way, and goes to the right down. Interesting how they made this. And there's the image, all 4 DIMMs of RAM, CPU installed, GPU installed. I am very happy for this repair. So I don't know why, but that specific areas on like X570 boards always have damage. So many times that happens. So many times. Like, the behavior of these boards most often then are that they go CPU, DRAM LED and then turn off. That is the behavior that you most often have when these drivers aren't working properly. And now this board is working fine. It's a quite nice board, I gotta say. Only problem for me would be this only has 2 M.2 slots. I'm running only M.2 on my system now. And I'm running 3 currently, and only having 2 would be, yeah, wouldn't be nice. I would have to adapt one of the PCIe to M.2, but yeah, I'd rather have a board that natively supports 3. So yeah, this repair comes to an end. Hope you learned something, hope you enjoyed it. All of my tools, as always, are linked in the video description. If you want to get one of these current meters, email me, they are linked in the video description. This was Mainboard Medic. Thank you very much, and goodbye.